I'm going to talk about something that I've seen people mention. Whoopi Goldberg, I believe, had John McCain on a TV show called The View, and she made some sort of a comment about the founding of the country. John McCain might have mentioned the Constitution, and she said, well, if I were alive during those days, I would have been 3/5 of a person. Well, guess what? You're wrong. You're wrong, Whoopi. You would, no black person. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me continue. The 3/5 of a person is called the 3/5 compromise. Has nothing to do with the Constitution at the founding of the country. The 3/5 compromise occurred before the founding of the country, before the United States existed. We had the Articles of the Confederation. We had the 3/5 compromise. And the 3/5 compromise said, because they said that a slave would be counted 3/5, and that an Indian, a native, would be counted as 0, and a white person would be counted as 1. And people today say, I would have been only 3/5 of a person. Well, guess what? 3/5 of a person is not bad. That's good. Being counted as 1 means that you're pro-slavery. The people who were pro-slavery wanted the slaves to be counted as 1. The people who were anti-slavery, which was the North, wanted the slaves to be counted as 0. However, they couldn't negotiate on that, so they negotiated at a half. They said, we'll count the slaves at a half. And the 3/5 compromise was, we're going to meet you between a half and 1 and make it 3/5. The slaves will be counted as 3/5. Well, guess what they were counting them for? They were counting them for taxes. Now, slaves don't pay taxes. But guess what? That tax money, which was coming from white people, was being paid to slave states for the benefit of slaves. Being counted as 1 would have meant that they would have received more money. The states had the right to spend the money in any way that they chose. It was at the state level that the money was to be spent. And if the slave was counted as 0, then no money would have been spent for the slaves. So again, if you believe an African should have been counted as 1, then you are pro-slavery. And if you believe as 0, then you are anti-slavery. The money was collected for taxation purposes. The taxes were paid by white people for the benefit of black people. The 3/5 compromise means that of the population of the state, they would receive, for every 2 people, 1 3/5, which means 3/5 on every $2, for example. That's a huge amount of money. It's more than any social welfare program will ever give anybody. They were receiving benefits from being counted as 3/5 and not paying into the system. And it was one of the greatest social welfare programs that has ever existed in the history of the world. And people attack it because they are ignorant.